Forgotten about this record too. Just I listened to it about 4 or 5 times on YouTube. Got that funky beat. That guitar is killer. That's the guitar shading a little bit on the surf side. That's sort of a surf guitar, but more funky than anything else. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Sly and the Family Stone when I thank you for letting me be myself again. Sort of that same rhythm, that same flavor. CeeLo, one of the producers of the record, actually he wrote the record. I'll get into that in just a minute. Let's talk about Amerie a little bit. Her real name, Amerie Marie Rogers. Her first album, All I Have, back in 2002, had that smooth R&B hit. Back in the summer of 2002, Why Don't We Fall in Love? Man, it's another feel-good record right there. Amari, Touch in 2005, and there was one thing, had that crank sound to it. It sampled a song by the Meters, a tune by the Meters called Old Calcutta, which that one came out back in 1970. One thing was really big. It went to number 8 on Billboard's Hot 100, went to number 4 in England. That was a big successful story for her. That song unspooled a go-go drum beat that just forged ahead at something like 100 beats per minute. One thing by Mari, that was top 10 on my fantasy playlist back in the spring of 2005. Her third album, Because I Love It. Third album, Take Control, did not do as well. One other thing about Touch, the album 2005, it might have been the record one thing. She got a Grammy nomination 2006, I think, for Best Female R&B Performance. Amari, so that sets the stage for her third album, Because I Love It. And CeeLo Green wrote this song, Take Control, and there's a couple of other, bear with me, my notes are all over the place. A couple of other songwriters on this record. Uh, Amari co-wrote it. Well, I'll just put it like this. CeeLo Green, he wrote the record, and he offered it to Amari. Would you like to do this record? And at first, Amari was hesitant. She said, well, I don't do other people's records because I don't really feel it. They don't work for me. But the thing was, Amari respected CeeLo Green because she remembered him from back in the days of when he was in Goody Mob. She was a fan of CeeLo Green, so she took the record. But she still, though, it wasn't up tempo enough. She wrote in a hook, she added a bridge, and she laced it up with a horn section. Made it her signature record. Although CeeLo Green did some production on this record, but there's another guy who produced the record. I thought I wrote his name down. I gotta give him some credit. Mike Caren, Caren. He produced the record. But a lot of these R&B records, there's a lot of people who get production credits. So CeeLo Green, Mike Caren. Nonetheless, now here's the deal. Take Control was decided it was decided that Take Control would be the first single off the album, Because I Love It. Because it had sort of a similar song to those R&B pop records that were doing so well. You had Bossy Michaelis, remember that? And of course, Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake. Everybody in the whole Western and Eastern world remembers that one. And of course, there was London Bridge. God, the scintillating London Bridge by Fergie. I remember that video. That was back in 2006, I think, by Fergie. It might have been off her first solo album, by the way. Well, anyway, it was decided to put this record out. It's just a funky record. Up-tempo record. I think it's one of her best records, actually, Take Control, but nobody was really feeling it here in the States. It peaked at number 66 on R&B, but it did well overseas. Went to number 10 in England, number 9 in Finland, something like number 19, top 20 in Norway. Did well overseas. And as a matter of fact, the song didn't even get on Billboard's Hot 100, but it's on my fantasy playlist, though. My fantasy playlist of the July 15th, 2007. Whoa, baby. Taking a big jump that week from 40 to number 31. Amari with Take Control.